Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with Italian jazz drummer Simone Prattico. We caught up with him from his home in Rome to talk about his latest 2021 CD called Oriundo. He grew up listening to recordings of musicians like Art Blakey, Max Roach, The Weather Report, and a lot of Motown artists. He's had a long and good life in the jazz world. These days, he splits time between Paris and Rome, doing the best he can to keep the jazz going and alive. Enjoy. So, hey, thank you for taking a minute out. Where exactly are you located in Italy?
In Rome. Now, today I'm in Rome. I'm from Rome. It's amazing. Every time I come back home, I'm happy.
Yeah.
To be born here. Quality of life is important, especially nowadays, and here it's maybe easier than other places, Where I also, because, I also live in Paris, part of the... So, which is beautiful too, but it's very different, Rome is special.
Yeah, without a doubt. So, again, thank you for taking a minute out. I want to talk to you about your latest CD, and it's coming out during a time when we're coming out of this pandemic and things are still kind of up in the air. How does it feel to have new material out with the chance of performing this live now?
It's quite interesting because the album is... getting great feedbacks. We were super happy, and at the same time, with the live performing. Imagine the future is, is not easy in this moment. So we look forward to play the album, the new music live. So, but for the moment, I'm concentrating on the good feedbacks of the album. I hope we can start playing as this pandemic, will allow us to make plans,
Absolutely. What do you ultimately want the listener to get from this album? How do you want them to feel about this project?
I really care about this one. I have I care also about my previous one, but this is very, very personal for me. It's an album which is I co-composed with my friend and great piano player, Klaus Müller. When the writing process was so fun and so intense, and also so authentic, because we really wanted to do something which really represents me. It's not like in the album I cannot say to you, yes, I came to New York to make a jazz album. There's tons of great jazz musicians in the U.S. and New York. It's about me. So there's a lot of drums, but there's also a lot of it's a lot about the south of everywhere, and the places where I feel home, So New York is one of these, of course, but it's also about the south of Italy, from where my family came from. It's about 25 years of travels, thanks to the drums, Yeah. And there's also about friendship, because the musicians, Klaus first is a great friend of mine, but also the other one, Edward Perez, Essiette on bass, both on different tunes, and everyone is was in the same vibe, it's about family thing. So I really care about this one.
Beautiful. So you're originally born in Rome. You started playing drums at 4. Talk to me about, how becoming a professional musician happened for you. How did all this start up?
I always say I was lucky. So, imagine Rome, actually in the 70s, I'm born in 70, I started playing because, I was, because my brother used to play guitar, and there were a few albums here, LP, vinyls, just a lot Motown stuff, then Napolitan folk music, Napolitan, and one record of Art Blakey and Jazz Messengers. So I was playing along this, first of all, without a real drums, because we built something, with bongos or something like this. And then I was quite talented, that's what they say. But here there was no big school for jazz drumming, it's not like a new school or other institutional. There was even no drums in the conservatory, classical there. So I studied in a little school, and I had the chance that the teacher, drum teacher, was Roberto Spizzichino. I don't know if you know him. But he is very famous for his cymbals, handmade. Everyone, you can ask Brian Blade, you can ask, everyone has one of these beautiful handmade cymbals, right? And he was my teacher, and he asked my mom, he said, the little one has, something, can you bring me into my home, I will teach him drums. So I had kind of a sort of like a drumming, babysitting for quite a lot of years, with a great teacher. And in my 16, I started to play little gigs, and then I was lucky because I was called by quite few new, I wouldn't say famous, yes, but at the time, yes, like pop singers here in Italy. I got straight into the business, you know what I mean? I was making sessions. At the time, there were recorded sessions. And at the same time, my friends were great jazz musicians here, older than me, because, Rome has like kind of tradition of Italian jazz musician. So I had both, and at the same time, I can earn my life playing, with pop stuff, and about 16, I was 16-year-old, then 18. Soon I started traveling also in France, so this cruise. And that's how it started.
What was the first live jazz show you ever saw that really blew you away?
The first jazz live show, no doubt, it was Max Roach, and that's what. And after this, everything changed. My life changed. He's still my hero, So, can you imagine? I was 6 or 8. I cannot tell you.
Yeah.
I think 76 or 78. Yeah. And I had this poster in my room, over my bed, for years. For me, Max, he is everything, He's groove, rhythm, but he's also melody. And I have this memory during this concert. I was really a little kid, My brother took me there, older brother. This gentleman, I don't know why, I didn't get a word what he was saying, but he was so nice as a person too, So Max Roach, definitely.
Beautiful. So you moved to Paris in 2005. You were in a house band, a Brazilian house band. So you're splitting time between Rome and Paris. What's that like for you now?
I mean, nowadays it's complicated, but I just came back from Paris. I mean, for many years, yes, I went to Paris 2005. Yes, I became the house drummer of the Blue Note for Brazilian jam station. And in 2 years, I started to play with a lot over there, all kind of things. And also, it's the first time I had an engagement in New York. So I was all these last, I would say, years, I was really in between here, twice a year, 3 times a year in New York, Canada a lot. And I was not really in Paris, I was based in Paris. But I always had this need to come back to Rome, which is very easy at the time. Now it's a little bit more complicated, but still I have many engagements in France. So I look forward to come back to New York, actually, as the situation gets better.
So what do you like? What do you like the best about waking up every day being a professional musician?
I have to say, unfortunately, I don't have a routine, like professional musician, like, practicing, waking up early. What I like is when I have an engagement, that's what moved me, gave me the power to go in my drum booth, work, practice a little bit, have ideas. Maybe what I like is this kind of little world we have as a musician in a few moments when we are alone with ourselves and the instrument. I like a lot this, when I can spend time with myself, thanks to the drums,
So let's say you come to Kansas City and perform your new album to a live audience, and before you get here, you got to kind of sell the show. You got to explain what a live show would be like. What would a live show that you put on in Kansas City be like?
The album I don't know if you know, the title is Oriundo. It means native in English, you know. It's about the immigration. I mean, it's about the son of immigrants, people born in another country, then sometimes came back to Italy, for example. We have 80 millions of Oriundi Italians in the world. This album represents, for me, in another sense, is very autobiographic, you know. It's about all the places I feel home. So if I have to think the live show, for sure I imagine something with my friends, with the band we recorded with. And I think it's going to be, if there would be, you know, in music, the moment is what it matters, so you don't know how is the show. But I can imagine that the energy we would like to give with the music, through this music of this album, is really about something about warmness, you know, the south of the world. That's where I feel home. So the show, I think, will be where I feel home musically. So it could be not necessarily, you know, a drummer. It's not necessarily a drummer album, you know. Yes, there are a lot of drums in the album, but you also have moments with melodies. We have strings. So I can imagine the show as something like a voyage, because this is what it's about. My life was 25 years of as a voyager, you know. So I imagine the people listening to this music taking part of this trip, you know, this voyage, as the French say.
So my final question to you is this. Everyone has a perception or an idea of who they think you are. Your family, your friends, your fans, but you're the one that lives your life. You have an idea of who you are. Who do you think you are?
Well, Joe, I'm someone who tries to be authentic. That's it. In music as in life. It is not easy. It's not an easy task every time. For example, this album is about also authenticity. So to be authentic, you know, it's not something made up, you know. It's if I have to say who I think I am, yes, it's maybe I try to be authentic. I'm a person who tries to be authentic in his life. And in the music, what I do, with my family, my friends, people. Yeah, that's my. If I have a little idea of myself, which is not easy to get. It's not an easy question, man.
No, it's not, and you did great. That was a great answer. Hey, man, thank you for taking a minute out for Neon Jazz today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much, Joe.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest cats in Paris, Rome, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. Thanks to Simone for his cool time and honesty. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino in the iTunes Store. Visit Neon Jazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.